Okay, here we go. I'm going to attempt to make a chicken like those kind of lemon peppered roasted chickens you buy in the grocery store, which I really like, but they're very expensive. And I'm going to use like the beer can chicken sort of method. I know how to make beer can chicken, which usually involves smoking it in the cooker. Since I don't want to smoke this chicken, I'm going to make it in the oven where I can very closely control the heat and put a shield in I have a gas oven, put a shield so that there's no direct heat on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is unwrap the chicken, which this chicken is 5¼ pounds. It's bigger than the one I wanted to get, but it was the smallest one they had. So I'm going to unwrap it and pour out the liquid, then or just pour out some of the liquid, I guess. Then I'm going to take out the stuff that goes inside it, or that they put inside it, and I'm going to put that in a little bag and freeze it, because it's very good for making chicken stock. But I don't need it for this particular task. So we'll put this in the freezer. There we go. Now, this is a giant piece of paper. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is wash off the chicken. Very well in cold water. I'm just rinsing the chicken thoroughly, and of course I'm not going to use that cutting board again because I don't think you're supposed to. So I'm going to turn it over and put the recently rinsed chicken back on the cutting board, and I'm going to dry it very well with paper towels, because we have a drought, so keeping the laundry down. I'm going to dry the inside out. I'm going to dry it really well. I think it's very important that the chicken be dry, or so I've been told. Which sort of brings up another topic. Nothing in this video is really original. I get all my ideas from watching YouTube videos on cooking. I'm not a professional cook. Now, since I've done that, I'm going to put the chicken in the fridge while I do other things, where it will dry even more, uncovered. Where it will stay cool and dry out a bit. I'm going to wash both sides of my cutting board, because they say you're always supposed to wash things when you have chicken. So that's what I'm going to do. And the next thing we're going to do is make the rub. And you can do whatever you want on the rub. I mean, a lot of people only use salt and pepper, or maybe a little garlic or something like that. I have several of these cutting boards. I use a bit more ingredients than that, because I like a very hot, spicy rub. I like hot food. But use whatever you like. So I have some jalapeno pepper that I made, lemon pepper, smoked paprika, cayenne pepper, granulated garlic, onion powder, and of course salt, kosher salt, and fresh cracked black. So here we go. And I don't really measure these things too carefully, so what have you. But this is my rub. You can do whatever you want. I really like, hot. I like very, very spicy food. So I'm putting kind of a big teaspoon of all of these ingredients in there. This jalapeno pepper is particularly hot. I made it by drying jalapenos in the oven, and we'll just use whatever we have left for the paprika. And then grinding it to a powder in a spice mill. I also have a habanero pepper, which I'm not using right now, but there's some onion powder. The lemon pepper I'm going to use does have salt in it. I prefer lemon pepper without salt, so I can sort of control the amount of salt, but such as it is. So then I'm going to put a really good dose of salt in here. And then grind some pepper. I like black pepper a lot. My closest sister, and closest in age, as well as my closest sister, is a black pepper fanatic. I think I learned it from her. Okay, so that's pretty much the rub. I mean, I'm just going to use a fork to sort of, mix it up or whatnot. It's not really mission critical. And again, salt and pepper probably makes pretty close to as good a rub as this, but I love the spices. So now I'm going to take a break and let the chicken dry for about a half an hour. So I'll be back. Okay, got the rub. I'm going to prepare the beer can part of this. I use a soda can. I don't drink beer anymore, but it's not important to use beer. I mean, I've made regular beer can chicken with water many times, and it works just fine. Some people are afraid that the ink, rubs off on the chicken. It never occurred to me until I saw it on YouTube a couple times. So if that is a worry to you, you don't have to buy a gadget. You can I just wrapped it in tinfoil. And then I use this gadget, which tends to hold it up better, so the chicken balances better. Then I have a bottle of beer that I would never drink, because I don't drink anyway, but even when I did drink, I didn't drink this kind of beer. So I'm going to open that and pour this can about half. And again, if you don't have beer, there's no reason to buy it. Just use water. I'm going to put some herbs in the beer. This is rosemary, fresh rosemary. I don't know if that's critical or not. I've never done it before, but I saw a guy I enjoy watching on YouTube do it. So I'm going to try it. And then some thyme. I'm going to poke this down in there, being careful not to cut myself on the edges. I left cutting a hole on the top of the can. So I'm going to put quite a bit of fresh thyme in there. I like thyme a lot. Again, I've never done this before, so I don't know how it's going to turn out. And then I want I definitely want some lemon flavor. So I'm going to, is that a lemon? No, that's an orange. I'm going to take this lemon, this is a whole lemon, and squeeze some of the juice into here, and then cut it up in smaller pieces so that it can be dropped in there. Again, I have no idea how this impacts the taste, but we're going to add some lemon anyway. Okay. Okay, there we go. So now we have that part done. So nothing here to have to wash for. So let's get the chicken. Okay, this is the chicken, which I'm gonna just give a final pat to make sure it's dry. I don't care too much about the back. I really don't eat that. The breast, legs, wings, all pretty yummy. Okay, I think it's pretty dry now. So we're gonna put a little olive oil on it. Gives the rub, get the rub to stick a little better maybe. Again, these are things I've seen done on the YouTube channels. There's a YouTube channel called T-Roy Cooks. The guy makes a lot of really good videos. I don't think technically he's a professional cook, but he is of that quality. I highly recommend his channel. If I can figure out how to put a link to it on YouTube, which I'm not sure I can, I will. I'll do it. I've gotten a lot of ideas from him, and he's very good at what he does. Okay, now we've put that on there. We'll wash hands. Okay, my phone's ringing. Let's see if that's important. It is not. Okay, so now let's do the rub. Okay. Stay. I just put rub on like this, and then pat it into the bird. I also like to get under the skin like this and separate the skin from the breast and put the rub under there, which I think gives it even more, rub and touch with the meat. I have a lot of this rub, so I'm not worried about I can't keep it now, so I contaminated a dent. Oh well. I don't worry too much about getting rub on the back because I don't really eat that part of the chicken, but I do worry about getting it inside because the breast meat is in there, and I definitely eat that part of the chicken. There's a way to get, excuse me, there's a way to get under the thigh skin too, but I don't think I'm going to do it. Okay, so the chicken is pretty heavily covered in the rub. Okay. I'm going to wash hands. All right. Now, really the only thing left is to mount the chicken on the, I'm going to put it in a skillet. Okay, I'm going to cook the chicken in this cast iron, which I got from my grandmother. And it was bought used in the somewhere back in the long ago. Okay, so here we go. We're going to mount the chicken on the beer can. And since I use this gadget to hold up the beer can, there's really never an issue of of it falling over. And I like to close up. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me look. Yeah, I like to close up this hole up here because I don't like the steam to get out. So I think what I'm going to do is just take this other half of the lime or lemon and stuff it in this hole to kind of plug it. Well, it doesn't seem to be working. Okay. Okay, now wash hands again. A lot of hand washing involved. Gotta get some paper towels. Okay, I'm gonna try and cook. This is a pretty good sized bird, about 5 1/4 pounds. So I'm gonna try cooking it at about 300 degrees until the thigh's like 165 or so, or breast, whatever. And I have an instant read thermometer. I'm also going to put some water in the pan so as to keep the direct heat down a bit. We'll see how that goes, how that boils. Now in the oven, I'm going to pick up the camera and try to show you this. In the oven, I'm putting it on the floor of the oven. I don't know if you guys can see that. Get a flashlight. See if this works. Okay, so I'm cooking it in the oven on top of this sort of heavy cast iron gizmo, and then this ceramic heat shield that is used for a grill. And I'm going to put the cast iron on top of that to try to make sure that the chicken cooks, within direct heat. So here we go. And I don't think I can put it on a rack because I think it'll be too tall. Although, maybe. I'm going to try the rack. Oh, it works actually. Okay, so good. So this is what it looks like in the oven. Hopefully that'll focus. There's a chicken, and there's heat, a lot of heat shielding below it. So we're going to set it for about 300 and okay, we're going to have a look at the chicken after about 30 minutes. So see if I can get it out of the oven without burning myself. Okay, the chicken looks pretty much like when it went in. Not much has happened, although I'm sure it's hotter. I'm gonna, if you don't have one of these like instant read thermometers, I highly recommend them. They really work well. I'm gonna make a poke in here and see what we got. Yeah, 63 degrees. Yeah, we aren't there yet. So I'm going up to 325 on the temperature, and I'm going to check it in another 30 or 40 minutes, maybe up to 350. Yeah, up to 350. So, because I think that heat shield is doing an excellent job. Okay, here we are again. After a few more minutes to maybe warm up that thigh a little bit, I'm going to go in for another get the bone. Oop. Still in the high 150s on that side. I think we're close enough. At 160. All right, so we're going to take it out and put it on a, what's the timer going off? Put it on a plate and let it sit. All right. Now, this can be rather touchy, getting it off without something going wrong. So here I'm going to try and do this without burning myself and without this thing. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to throw out this water because maybe I'm thinking I can cook something in that. Maybe some potatoes or something. I don't usually eat potatoes, but... Okay, we're going to let the bird sit, let's say like 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and test it. Well, here we are after 15 minutes, so I'm gonna cut off a piece of the breast meat and see just what we have here. There's a little bit of liquid running out of this thing, which is, I think, normal. But it's cooled off, so I don't think it's going to be a big storm. So I'm going to remove this lemon, and then I'm going to try and take this thing off the can, which is sometimes kind of a process. I don't want to turn it over because I don't want to spill all the water inside that can was still a little hot. Sorry about that outburst. Okay, no problem. A little bit of a mess here, but not too bad. Fortunately, I have a large number of paper towels. I burned my hand a little bit, but not a serious burn. Sorry about this. I've got to get this mopped up before I can continue with my workings. Damn. Okay, so there's a tip. Sometimes the water inside the can is hotter than you think it is, even after the bird sits for 15 or 20 minutes. Okay, there's a good amount of water or fluid picked up. Rinse off the knife. All right, now back to it. Here we go. Let's take a wing. They're pretty easy to, well, it just pulls apart. Okay, the skin is very crispy. The rub is extremely hot. I mean, it's spicy. I mean, the skin is really crisp. It's awesome. This is awesome roasted chicken, folks. All right. We're done. It's a success.